Conservative New Media viewers, J-Lin fans around the world, what's up? It's me, PFE, Paul F. Villario, the NBA expert. We're here to discuss Brooklyn's 98-95 loss tonight to the Boston Celtics in Brooklyn, New York. Boston improves to 44-25 on the season, including 21-16 away from home. Brooklyn falls to 13-55 on the year, including 8-26 at home. What happened in this game was the Nets struggled a bit in the first half, kind of like the last game that they played, and they picked it up more in the second half. Boston looked like they were going to pull away in this game late in the third quarter and early in the fourth quarter when they were going against Brooklyn's bench. Now, three people were not playing for Brooklyn tonight, or not available. Sean Kilpatrick, Joe Harris, and Trevor Booker, who missed his second straight game with, he has like a leg strain. I can't remember right now. So you're talking about a significantly important pieces there, particularly, well, actually all three of them. Certainly Booker and Kilpatrick, who are firmly in the rotation, and I think Joe Harris will be as well when he comes back. That meant that Andrew Nicholson and KJ McDaniels got to play more tonight. However, Boston's bench is quite good, and they were going against more of an inexperienced, in terms of playing with one another, Brooklyn bench, because McDaniels and Nicholson haven't played very much. So Boston looked like they were going to pull away, but then the bench made a big run, and Brooklyn was in this game down the stretch. And then with about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, the lead was going back and forth. And JLin came to the scorer's table because he was going to check in. Well, when you're at the scorer's table, you have to wait until there's a stoppage in play. Like you have to wait until there's a foul or something like that. And no stoppage of play occurred for 3 minutes of game time. So Jeremy did not get back into this game until about like 3 minutes and 10 seconds or something, which is really, really a long time. So certainly Lin fans and Nets observers are going to look at that and say, well, you should have gotten Jeremy in quicker. I will say this in defense of coach. The Nets were doing pretty good in those 3 minutes between when Jeremy got to the scorer's table and when Jeremy actually got into the game. They were. Unfortunately, at the very end of those 3 minutes where Jeremy was not on the court, Boston surged, made like a 6-point surge right in the last about 30 seconds of it before Jeremy could get on the court. And that's because Jay Crowder hit a three-pointer for Boston, and then Jay Crowder got a layup with an and one, and he made the free throw. So when Jeremy came back into this game, the Nets were down 5 points. And of course, they wound up losing by 3 points. So if Coach Atkinson had gotten Jeremy in before that little surge at the end of the 3 minutes by Crowder, yes, it is possible that this game could have ended up being a Nets win rather than a Nets defeat. However, the good thing is the Nets are not fighting for a playoff spot, and Coach Atkinson can learn from this. So it's better that you make mistakes like this now than you make mistakes like this next year when maybe you're in the playoff run. Was it a mistake? I don't know. I mean, it worked for 2.5 minutes or so, but it didn't work in the last 30 seconds. Coach, I'm sure, just wanted to save a timeout, and the team was doing pretty good until the very, very end of it. And then you put Jeremy in, and now you're down 5 points. So that happened. The Nets still had a chance. After Jeremy came in, it wasn't like all hope was lost. They battled in. They got the score. They came within 2 points. And with about 10 seconds left in this game, they were down by 3 points, 98-95. They inbounded the ball after a timeout. Brook Lopez shot a three-pointer, and it missed. The rebound came out to JLin. He passed the ball to Quincy Acey. Quincy Acey shot a three-pointer, and he missed. And then right as the buzzer expired, and Randy Foye also got a shot at a three-pointer, but it wouldn't have counted because it came after the buzzer. So Brooklyn had a really good chance to tie this game at the end of the contest. And I will say this, Boston's came into this game as a 9-point favorite. They were resting yesterday, already in New York City, and of course Brooklyn played last night and beat the Nets. So Boston was missing Isaiah Thomas, which is certainly a big loss. But Boston's a deep team. They are the second best team in the East right now by record. They're very serious, and they needed this game. And Brooklyn still was right there for this entire game. And had a good chance really to win it or tie it up and take it into overtime. So I'm really happy with the effort that Brooklyn gave tonight. I thought they played well. Boston is one of the top 6 or 7 or 8 teams in the league. Yeah, of course, they're not as good without Isaiah Thomas, but still, Brooklyn fought hard. They gave a really good showing of themselves, particularly on a back-to-back. Now, Jeremy himself, Jeremy's never been great, in my recollection, on back-to-back games. He's much better when he's got rest in between games rather than 2 games in a row, like the second night of the 2 games in a row. The team wanted to rest him more. They didn't want to play him 30 minutes tonight. He played 30 minutes yesterday, and they were going to keep him to about 24 minutes tonight. Could he have played more? Maybe. But again, everything for the team right now is about caution and don't re-injure Jeremy. So he could have played more, but you know what? I understand why the team was doing it. Jeremy played well in the time that he was on the court. We'll talk about it in a second. And I will also say that Boston's defense was pretty much focused on Jeremy. Like they were working to slow Jeremy down and make somebody else beat them. And I think that's why Jeremy didn't shoot the ball as much tonight and was a little bit more focused on passing in this game. People are going to say, well, he only shot 6 times. Well, I think that's because Boston was keen on him, and he knew it. And so, okay, if you're being double-teamed or trapped hard on pick and rolls, just pass the ball. That's what I said. That's what Jeremy needs to do. Don't force it. Work with what the defense is giving you. So that's the summary. Overall, good Brooklyn outing. They played very hard, including with 2 guys that are not used to playing on the bench, and both of them played pretty well. They're playing on a back-to-back. Jeremy didn't really get the full measure that he usually would because he was on the back-to-back and he didn't get those 3 minutes late in the game. But the team played well. The new bench guys played well, and Jeremy played well. And it was a close loss against a team that was rested, even though you played last night. So let's talk about the statistics here, individual statistic. KJ McDaniels, who is one of the new bench guys, 6 points, 4 rebounds in 19 minutes. He had a huge dunk in this game that you might be able to catch on the highlights. As I said, he's extremely athletic. Needs to work on his shooting a little bit in terms of long-distance shooting and three-point shooting, but these last 2 nights, he's looking pretty good. He had 9 points, I think, last night, 6 points tonight. And this guy could fit in here. And maybe he's a long-term project and somebody you have to develop his skills. But he's got pretty good size and he's athletic. And that's a commodity in the NBA, to be able to get a wing player, shooting guard, small forward who has those characteristics. So we'll see what happens with him. Andrew Nicholson, who is the power forward / center, who they also picked up recently. 11 points, 2 rebounds. Andrew played great. He played 17 minutes. So this is what you have to look at in games like this. What are the small things that happen? Okay, we didn't win and we've lost a lot this year, but how are people playing? How are they developing? And remember, these 2 guys are probably the 13th and the 14th guy on the roster. Maybe the 14th and the 15th. and they're playing decently. And that really matters on a team like the Nets. As we said, the way that they play and how many men that they play and that they like to rest guys. You need the end of the bench players to be able to play well. And so for these, through bench guys 13 through 15 or 13 and 14, Archie Goodwin's probably number 15. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And so I'm really happy about that. Isaiah Whitehead kind of had a struggling game. Didn't shoot the ball 0-7. And it's probably the back-to-back, and he's probably hitting the rookie wall, which is kind of like rookies aren't used to playing this many games. They're coming from college usually, and they only play 30, 40 games. Well, now you're playing 82 games, and you just kind of hit the wall because you're not used to playing that much. Spencer Dinwiddie, 4 points, 4 assists. And that's the Quincy AC, 10 points, 3 rebounds. His 3-point shooting is cooled off, but he's such a hot streak. He couldn't shoot like that forever, but he's still doing a nice job. Karis LeVert, starter, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. He also had kind of a tough game. Again, maybe a little bit of the rookie wall and just struggles on the back-to-back. Randy Foye, 14 points. He had a nice game. Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, 10 points, 5 rebounds. Brook Lopez, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Nice game from Brook. Jeremy Lin, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. So it wasn't too far from a triple-double in this game. Jeremy played 21 minutes, shot 3 of 6 from the field, including 2 of 4 from three-point range, 2 of 2 free throws, no steals, 1 block shot, 3 turnovers, 3 personal fouls, plus-minus was a +4. Jeremy played a good, controlled game tonight. I can tell you that after this game, his PER will go up, and his 3-point percentage will go up. So it's hard to say he didn't do that much. The only thing that doesn't look big for him tonight was the scoring. But he's now played, I think, 24 games this year, and he scored in double figures in 21 of them, which is by far the best percentage of double-figure scoring nights / games played in his career. So he's doing just fine. Like I said, I think he just knew Boston was focused on him, so he moved the ball around more. Let me see. His would-be assist number I had at 5+, and I have the plus because I missed the first couple minutes of this game. I had to do something else, so it's possible he had even more than 5. I thought he played great. He played very good defense. He was Marcus Smart started at point guard for Boston, and Marcus Smart shot 3 of 14 from the field. Jeremy did a good job on defense. And like I said, he didn't force anything. Boston has a number of good individual defenders on their team. Marcus Smart's a pretty good defender. Avery Bradley is a great defender. And so this is a team that it can be difficult to get a lot of one-on-one stuff against. And it's just like I said, you combine that with their focus on Jeremy and Jeremy playing on a back-to-back, and this is you can get this. He might not have 20 points. He might have 10 points or 12 points or something like that. Still, he played well. And to get 10 points on 6 shots and 10 points in 21 minutes that's solid. Nothing wrong with that at all. 3 turnovers. Boston traditionally, their defense is down this year. They traditionally, in the last few years, they force a lot of turnovers. They get a lot of steals, and they'll disrupt your offense. So, sure, we'd like the turnovers to be a little bit less, but he had a 2-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio tonight, and if he has 1 less turnover, it's 3-to-1, which is great. So that's well within an acceptable window. And like I said, I thought Jeremy played great, and he played controlled. And he was looking to pass the ball more than looking to score, and that's fine. So that's pretty much it. That's the summary here. I'll go over my quick notes from the quarter by quarter, but Jeremy had a nice outing. There are only 2 more back-to-backs this season, so that's good for the team. They only have to deal with this 2 more times this year, and there will be, I think each team has about 18 back-to-backs this season. But that number will be reduced next season because they're going to lengthen the regular season and make it longer so that they can get a few less back-to-backs. So hopefully that will maybe instead of 18 next year, it'll be 12 or something like that. And that should help out Jeremy and just kind of make it easier for all the guys around the league. But the Nets played hard. Jeremy had a good outing. And the Nets did well. And they had a chance to tie this game right at the very end against a very good team. So it's really hard to be too displeased with that. Okay, in the first quarter, I made the note that says Lin focused on dishing this quarter. When he came out of the game, midway through the first quarter, he had 0 field goal attempts. And he had, I think, 2 assists and 2 turnovers. So obviously he was more focused on passing than shooting. And that started very early in the game. Then I put in the second quarter, Lin on fewer minutes tonight because he's on the back-to-back, which I said. And they're going to be really cautious with him. But as we said, because this team is not in the playoff hunt, let's be cautious. It's much more important to keep Jeremy Lin healthy and not hurt his hamstring or his legs again, rather than you got to go all out to win one game when you're not in the playoff hunt. Okay? Then I put in third quarter, Jeremy using his teammates and not forcing shots. That's how to do it. Now, we said this in one of the other recent videos. If you can't get a really good one-on-one look, even if you're the man and you feel like you're supposed to produce, just use your teammates. I mean, one of the reasons why Brooks scores so much and everything is because he's gigantic. I mean, he's 7 foot tall, probably 270, and he's, it's a lot easier for him to get good shots around the basket than it is for Jeremy to get good shots around the basket, just because of the height and size difference. So Jeremy, I thought, was just playing it perfectly. Give the ball to Brooke, give the ball to guys in transition, and your assist will go through the roof, and you can score other times. And I thought Jeremy really was smart about that in this game. Then Jeremy made a 3-point shot in transition to give Brooklyn the lead at 49-48. And then you could see Jeremy kind of clapping his hands at his teammates like, yeah, we're playing well, we're playing smart, kind of exhorting them onward. And just, again, Jeremy's the leader. Just kind of let the guys know, this is it. This is how we need to play. You guys are doing a great job, so really happy about that. That was good to see. Now, the Nets, as opposed to the first half, were really digging in and fighting hard in this third quarter. They had much more effort and energy in the third quarter in the second half, and that's exactly what happened in last night's Knicks game. And that's just, you just have to work on that, particularly young and inexperienced team. You've got to work on getting your energy in the right focus. In other words, you have to avoid slow starts, or you have to avoid not being good in the third quarter. So they just have to keep working on this, but at least they've been able to fix it. I mean, remember earlier in the season, the Nets were terrible in the third quarter. Last 2 games have been really good in the third quarter. So just keep working at it. Now the issue is try to get a little bit better start in the first half. Then I put Boston working hard now to keep the ball out of Lin's hands. They were putting extra defensive pressure on against Jeremy in the backcourt, meaning they didn't want Jeremy to bring the ball up. So they were forcing other guys on the Nets to bring the ball up. I think at this time it was primarily Karis LeVert and also Randy Foye. So like I said, they were, as many teams do, they want to shut down Jeremy with the thinking that if we shut down Jeremy, we shut down the Nets offense because he's the guy that makes everything happen. And it's a good strategy, and Boston was using it. Then I made a note that says KJ McDaniels looking good. Again, he had a big dunk and a couple of nice plays. He's starting to find his way a little bit, which is, again, it's just really good for him and good for the team. Moving on to the fourth quarter. This is where I made the note where Jeremy was sitting there waiting at the scorer's table again, between about 6 minutes left in the game and about let's see, what did he go? 3:05 left in the game. He was literally just sitting there for 3 minutes of game time. And as I said, look, it was a tough spot. Coach could have called a timeout. Maybe that was the right decision to make. I understand it was working okay for him until the very end, as we said previously. But, I mean, people are going to be on him about that, and it's understandable given what the situation was and what the final score of the game was. Then Jeremy got a really tough call with about 30 seconds left in the game. Well, actually, about 24 seconds. Boston was up 2 points, 93-91. Boston shot the ball, and they missed. And Marcus Smart went for an offensive rebound, and Jeremy kind of grabbed him around the arms and pulled him down. It was a tough play. The Yes Network guys, Ryan Rucco and Mike Fratello, both thought that Jeremy did foul Marcus Smart, and he probably did foul him. It's tough, though. Marcus is a big guy. I mean, Jeremy's bigger than most point guards, but he's not bigger than Marcus Smart. Marcus is, I don't know how much he weighs, but he weighs a lot. And Jeremy was just trying to hold him off from getting in for an offensive rebound, and he tried to do something, and he did end up pulling him down. And that did not lead directly to free throws, but because of when it happened, then the Nets had to foul Boston right after that in order to get the ball back, get possession back, or else Boston could have ran out the clock. But look, there's a lot of pushing and shoving all throughout this game. I mean, Jeremy got beat up in this game a lot. And I think, again, that's part of why he didn't shoot a whole bunch. And clearly Boston was wanting to slow him down and be physical with him. And he took a lot of... He got hit pretty good in this game. So I'm just glad that he was able to get through it, and hopefully wasn't hurt. And unfortunately, the referees caught him on that particular play when the truth is they probably could have caught Boston throughout the game on a number of plays where Jeremy got hit hard and he did not get the foul called. But that's pretty much it. Look, it's a 3-point loss to a very good team, the second best team in the East right now, on a back-to-back. And I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's Boston was supposed to win this game, and they did. The Nets gave a good effort. Jeremy played well, and he played smart. I don't think he got hurt, and his statistics will go up except for points per game. And the Nets' younger and new bench players played pretty well. So I think it was a successful outing, even though the team didn't get the win. And like I said, I feel pretty good about what happened tonight. And let's just take it from here and head on to the next game. I think that's where we're at right now. And like I said, I think at worst you feel neutral about tonight. There's really not a lot to feel bad about, except for, okay, you could say maybe Coach Atkinson should have put Jeremy in a little bit sooner. But besides that, I thought it was pretty good. Next game coming up 2 days from now at home in Brooklyn. Tonight was the first of 4 straight games in Brooklyn at home for the Nets. And it is a matinee game, meaning it takes place relatively early. Sunday, March 19th here in the United States, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, so much earlier than normal, against the Dallas Mavericks, whom, of course, the Nets lost to about a week ago now in Dallas, Texas. So that will be an interesting game. As we talked about at the time, Dallas is a much better team than they were earlier in the season. That should be a winnable game, and it becomes more winnable if Trevor Booker, Sean Kilpatrick, and or Joe Harris are available to play. I really don't know the status on that. I think they were saying that Trevor Booker might be ready to come back on Sunday. We will see. But, I mean, Dallas is good. We saw it. We know they execute well. We know they can shoot the ball well. We know they're in a big fight for a playoff spot, so every game is important to them. But the Nets should be able to They should be able to be in that game and be competitive and have a chance to win. So let's see what happens, and we'll just wait until then. But that's about it for tonight. That will be game number 69. Hope you're having a great night or great day wherever you are around the world when you watch this video. Take care, and we will talk to you in less than 48 hours as the Brooklyn Nets host the Dallas Mavericks in Brooklyn, New York, Sunday, March 19th, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time here in the U.S. See you then. Take care until we see you.